Hi guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with the Ship With Me. These are all orders that came through over the weekend. Kind of a weird weekend of sales. It was a little bit on the slower side. I had a couple bigger sales and I cleared out a couple older pieces. So we've got a lot to talk about here. I think there's gonna be some things that I am officially taking off of my pickup list. So let's get into it. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia. That is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. Without further ado, guys, it's a little bit later in the afternoon. I gotta get these things packed up off to the post office. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipments. All right, so the first thing we have right here, this is actually something from my own closet. This is from COS, and this is just a high neck, boxy fit t-shirt. And I ordered this online and I just never loved the fit on me, but COS basics are kind of always a good purchase if you see them, you know, especially something like this, which I doubt would get jacked up in terms of price in a regular thrift store. I have picked up and sold quite a few COS basic pieces kind of like this at the thrift and at the bins, and they've all sold kind of in the same range. So definitely something to keep your eyes out for if you are unfamiliar with COS. That is one of their tags, very simple. They also have like a black on black version, which can be kind of hard to miss. But I love COS, I love their stuff. I have quite a few pieces, obviously. And they're a brand I never hesitate to pick up. I still think that there's very few stores here in the country. Based over in Europe, I think that they are in the same family as H&M. Definitely a different quality level and design level than H&M, but regardless, I know that there's at least one or two stores here in the LA area. I'm sure that there's at least one or two in New York, probably in Chicago, the big cities, but I don't know if there's a lot in other kind of regional areas. Let me know if you have a COS store anywhere near you and where you are. I'd be interested to see if they've kind of moved past like the real major markets in the States. But due to the kind of scarcity of the brick and mortar stores, pretty much anything I've ever had from COS sells very, very quickly because they are pricey. I want to say this t-shirt was over $50. Like I said, pricey. But either way, I had this listed at $32 and I got an offer for $25 on it, which I did accept. Of course, this was owned, so you know there's really no profit here. But in terms of what I received from the marketplace, I got $23.44. And as you can probably tell from what I got paid out, this was a sale over on Depop, and this was only listed for 2 days. So like I said, COS is just one of those brands that are like an always pick up for me, and something that I'm very comfortable paying regular thrift store prices on. Next up, this is a cute one. This is from Natural Life. Natural Life is another one that is almost always a very quick sale for me. It's not always like the highest dollar sale, but it's a very reliable seller. To this day, I've only had one piece that has ever not sold. Right before I filmed this, I pulled up all of the Natural Life sales that I've had for the last 2 years, and everything is sold in like 2 months or less, with the exception of one piece, which has been around for like a year. And it's because it's such a departure from what they typically do. So that is the label there. Again, another one, not gonna be crazy high dollar sales, but it will be like a guaranteed pretty dang quick sale and a solid sale. So this is a long maxi dress. It's a full shirt dress, so it unbuttons all the way. So this can easily be a swim cover up as well. So this was when I had a lot of options in terms of keywording. So I could use swim cover up, I could use resort wear. I could also use minimalist, shirt dress, wear to work. This is definitely one of those super duper versatile, throw on and go, one piece wonder type of pieces. Now, Natural Life retail isn't crazy expensive, although I will say I've been getting all of these ads. Let me know if you guys see this. On TikTok, I get these ads for like a sample sale. I don't know if this is something that's only served around Los Angeles or not, so I'm interested to hear who else does it. But it'll be like pieces starting at $3, and it's a total scam. There are definitely like in-person sample sales for stuff like this. If memory serves me right, there was one not too long ago, but they're in person, right? Like you go there and you dig through little bins of clothing and whatnot. But Natural Life, and Vuori tend to be the two that I see a lot of ads for. Anyway, they're scams. Report them. Don't buy anything from them unless it's something that's in a brick and mortar location. They're not ever going to have like an online sample sale. Or if they did, it would be an exceptional circumstance. But either way, I love their stuff and I'll pick it up anytime I see it. This one I had listed for $42 and I had it listed for a month and a half. And I got an offer for $30, which I did accept. And with a $4.50 cost at the thrift store, this brought me to a profit of $19.50. And this was a sale over on Poshmark. And in general, most of the pieces that I have found from Natural Life have sold between like $25 for like tops to like the $38, $40 range. This one was unusual because it was like solid black. A lot of the Natural Life pieces that I've seen have been like floral printed and colorful. So yeah, either way, I hope she loves it. Next up, now this is one that I have had for a while. This is a beautiful little cashmere sweater from Evelyn Grace. And of all the cashmere sweaters I have ever had in my possession, this one has been around the longest, has had the most interest, and has not sold. Now, it's a size extra large, but it is a slim fit size extra large. It's one of those ones when you have something like this that's not a classic fit, which like for a cashmere sweater, a traditional fit is kind of like a relaxed fitted fit. This is, I think, meant to fit close to the body. Make sure you have measurements. But I'm happy to be moving this one on. Now, is this one of those ones that I've had for a long time that I'm not gonna be picking up anymore? No, it's cashmere. I'm gonna pick it up. There will always be a buyer for good quality cashmere. This is just a classic forever buy for me. And I will pick these up and sell them all year long. I sell cashmere in August, just like I sell resort wear in January, all the time. In fact, like I'm interested to hear. Now, I don't ever hold anything back. When I pick it up, I list it, right? Like I list things more or less in the order that I source them. Are you somebody who stores seasonal stuff to be listed at a specific time of year? If so, what's your pattern? I'm interested to hear. Let's get a little bit of a consensus going in the comments. I think that this would also be helpful to hear multiple people's different methods, especially if we have some new resellers. Like I said, I don't really have the luxury of sourcing seasonally just because I'm in Southern California. Like it's always warm here. It is currently 77 degrees outside and beautiful in January, but I know that there's a lot of places. I know that most of the country has 4 seasons and it might be a little bit easier to source seasonally, but I list in the order that I source. So let me know what you guys do. I'm super interested to hear. But anyway, had this listed for just over 1 year. Like I said, this has been around for a while. Had it listed at $44 and I'm pretty sure I dropped the price on this at some point, but it popped through as a full price sale. Always happy for that. And this is one that was sourced by my mom back east. So with a $1-ish cost at her bins, this brought me to a profit of $36.22. And this was a sale over on eBay. So I hope she loves it. Super happy to be moving this one on. But again, just a gorgeous, elevated basic. Love it. Next up, this is another one that I've had for a little bit of time. And this is kind of a foray into things I don't really do that much. This is a 70s vintage Brioni blazer. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the name Brioni, it is an extremely, extremely high-end menswear designer. It is in the same range as like Armani and Gucci in terms of pricing. If you were to go and buy a Brioni suit, you're looking at about $4,000 to $8,000 depending on what it is. This one is vintage, I believe from the 70s, just going by the tags. And I'll tell you, I had a lot of interest in it. I feel very fish out of water because menswear, like suiting, stuff like this, get any last little fuzzies off of the back here, is not really something I do too much of. I don't know too much about it. I know that there's a lot of intricacies in the fit of pieces like this. The guy who ultimately bought this asked me a bunch of questions and I answered them to the best of my ability. So I hope this is perfect for him. But Brioni, if you are somebody who does menswear or if you are somebody who is thinking about getting into menswear, is absolutely positively a name you should have on your radar. Canali is another one. Both extremely, extremely high-end. And the quality is stunning. This one's 100% wool. And if you're flipping through a rack of suits, you would probably just catch the quality in these. Gonna have to kind of double poly bag this. But either way, I had this listed at $74 and I had it for about 8 months. And ultimately, after some back and forth, I got an offer for $50 on it, which I did accept. With the $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $45.40, and this was a sale over on Depop. Now, my question whenever I'm dealing with something like this is, would I pick it up again? It's a great profit, absolutely. But I always feel very uncomfortable selling something that I don't have a full command of. Like, I like to be able to answer questions really thoroughly and with the knowledge that I know what I'm talking about. I don't know if this necessarily is going to be my play. I think that there's going to be certain blazers and stuff like this, like John Varvatos blazers, I'll pick up for sure. You know, if I see something that's really, really nice and a modern cut, for sure. But I think something like that would be a game time decision. It's bulky. I don't feel 100% confident in like my knowledge on men's suiting, so it's a maybe for me. Let me know, what would you do? All right, next up, this is a pair of Abercrombie & Fitch jeans. Now, this is another one that I've had for quite a while. These are the 90s baggy jeans. They're a size 18. So for all intents and purposes, these should have been pretty quick selling. This is one of their more modern styles, but man, did these sit. And while I am a huge fan of Abercrombie & Fitch jeans, I think bang for your buck is great. They're not cheap, they're not super expensive, but they're certainly not mother jeans at $278. But I want to say that they retail at about $100. And if you're looking for a good pair of jeans, I would definitely check them out. Like if you haven't looked at Abercrombie jeans since 2002, it's worth a visit. I've been pretty much 100% Madewell for years and years and years. And the first pair of jeans that I bought that wasn't Madewell in probably about a decade were Abercrombie jeans. But yeah, these took an eternity to move. Now, I had them listed for about 1 year and 6 months, and I'll tell you, they were kind of close to the chopping block. But I had them listed at $42, and I ultimately got an offer for $30, which I gladly accepted. I'm super happy to be moving these on. And with a $1 cost at the bins, of course, last year, this brought me to a profit of $23 even, and this was a sale over on Poshmark. So, I mean, I think what I'm saying here is I might be completely out on Abercrombie jeans. They haven't moved for me well. I think I'm gonna try to stick to like more niche brands. A lot of mall brands just haven't done well for me. Zara, style-based, it does okay, not great. Like American Eagle jeans. I know that there's a lot of people out there that do very, very well with American Eagle in general. And it's just something that has never really sold for me, and that just might be a my store thing. But yeah, I think I'm out. I think I am done with picking up Abercrombie jeans because this has kind of been my experience over a couple different pairs that I've had. I don't think I've had a single pair that sold in under 6 months. So I think that they're not for me. So I'm interested to hear though, do any of you guys do really well with them? Are they something that you used to do well with and they've dropped off? Let me know. Maybe this is an overall sentiment thing. Next up, another one I've had forever. This is LL Bean, cute little mustard mock neck shirt. LL Bean in general sells pretty decent for me. Never for a huge amount, but you know, the LL Bean quality is always so, so nice, and it's just a very reliable brand. But this, and I've had another shirt that was similar to this that also took an eternity to move. And I think I am done with these as well. For LL Bean, I'm gonna stick with, I think they're more classic pieces. That seems to be what performs best for me. Though to be clear, like I do not see a ton of LL Bean here, but I'm interested to hear anybody who does a lot of LL Bean. I know that I have some viewers that are up in Maine, up in the New England area that see a ton of LL Bean while they're outsourcing. Number one, is it something that you pick up? Number two, does it sell well for you? Number three, what kind of stuff sells the best for you from LL Bean? I'm interested. Like, I don't think I'll ever see a pair of Bean boots here, which are, I'm sure, forever good sellers because they're the best. But if you're in the market for any kind of activewear or like solid loungewear, stuff like that, LL Bean, you cannot go wrong. Bang for your buck. They are amongst the best you can get, I think, in mass market today. I always lump LL Bean and Uniqlo into like the top of the pops there, both offering incredible bang for your buck. So this is one that I had for almost 2 years. And I had it listed at $26 and I got an offer for $20, which I gladly accepted. It's a great little shirt. I'm so happy I'm finally getting that out to another closet, but with a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $15 even, and this was another sale over on Poshmark. So again, super happy to be getting this back out into use. It just, LL Bean stuff is the kind of thing that I always hesitate to kind of donate back just because their stuff is such nice quality. Like I know that there's a buyer out there for it, but that just took way too long and was not nearly enough of a profit to justify holding on to it for that long. In contrast, we've got this little beauty that sold in like 2 days. So this is an equestrian riding sweater. It's an interesting fabric. It's like a thick fleece. It's almost like a neoprene. It's almost a little bit spongy. So this is something that you would wear, I guess, on a cold weather day. It's got that very tailored look to it. I love the little quilting down here that feels very like heritage. I would love to know if any of you guys out there are into riding sports. What is the function of this collar? Is this decorative? These are little snaps that kind of open up like this. Is this a decorative thing or is there a function? I am very curious. But either way, I picked this up at a regular thrift store that is near an area that has quite a bit of horse property. So I saw this and I saw a couple other little like riding pieces. This one was the only one that looked in like good enough condition. Everything else looked pretty well worn, but this looks absolutely perfect. I don't know if this brand is still around, and I don't think it's a particularly like high-end riding clothing brand, because one of you guys said it perfectly. Some of the English riding gear is disgustingly expensive, and it really is. It's not an inexpensive sport to start with. Just having access to a horse at all, whether it's your own horse or like a horse at a stable, is extremely expensive. And that's not counting coaches or gear or anything like that. This is not for the faint of heart financially. But as I've mentioned before, if you live in an area, and I know a lot of you do live in an area that has a lot of like riding activity around, be sure to be keeping your eye out for this kind of stuff. Spend a little time learning the brands because the pieces get real expensive real fast. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there, particularly moms who have kids who are like just trying it out, who are very excited to find a good deal on some of this gear. It's one thing if like this is what they do and this is what they're committed to, but if it's, you know, their first couple riding lessons and they need a little bit of equipment, I'm sure that they would rather get something like this secondhand than pay $250 for it. Either way, I had this listed, the brand on this was Horsewear Platinum. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I had this listed for $42. I had it listed for just under a month. I sent an offer for $37, which was accepted. And with a $6 cost at the thrift store, this brought me to a profit of $23.60. And this was a sale over on Poshmark. In fact, I may spend a little time going down the wormhole on the brands as well, just because I know that there are a few pockets around the LA area that do have a lot of like horse property or riding facilities nearby. And I'm sure in the thrifts that are around those areas, there's some real gems to be had. Next up, this is an interesting one. So this is G-Star Raw. Now G-Star Raw is a Dutch-based company and all of their stuff feels very like Eurotech to me. They're kind of known for having these super articulated legs. Do you see how that is like articulated almost in an arch? When you hang them up, they kind of curve out and in. Super expensive, and they have a cult following. Like they're not a brand that a ton of people know, but the people who know it really love it. I had a friend who was really big into G-Star, only ever wore their jeans for as long as I've known him. And I've known him at this point probably 15 years. So they fly under the radar for sure. But they definitely fall into the category of the like weird and well-made. I think if you were outsourcing in the bins and you weren't familiar with this brand, it would probably be something that would have you take a second look just because of how unusual their fit is. But I don't really see all that much of this brand. Again, it's not a huge brand. It's just kind of like a cult favorite brand. So I do always have my eyes out for it. Now this one I had listed for just under 3 months, and I had it listed for $46, and I got an offer for $38, which I did accept. And with a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $28.48. And this was a sale over on eBay. In fact, every G-Star sale that I have made over the last year has also been on eBay. Just fun little data point for you. You know, I'm always looking for stuff like that. And finally, this was an insane find at the bins. So this is a shirt from a brand named Kith. If you are unfamiliar with Kith, I highly recommend you get familiar with Kith. Kith is a big player in the streetwear scene, super expensive, limited runs, do some high-end collaborations. And this is one of their more popular shirts. Like, I could not believe that I found this in the bins. But it says Kith here along the bottom hem. There's a lot of little details to it. But the thing about Kith is kind of in the same vein as like a Supreme. They do limited runs, they do high-end collaborations, and there are things that sell out and never come back. So there are a lot of times when something like Kith has a secondhand valuation that is higher than it was retail. I don't know what this was retail, but it's at least close to retail what it's going for on the secondhand market. But that's Kith, like kith and kin. So keep your eyes out, especially if you live near a big city where you have a pretty big time like streetwear scene. But this is definitely in that like hype beastie world of high-end streetwear. But either way, I had this listed at $128. So when I say keep your eyes out for Kith, I mean keep your eyes out for Kith and be comfortable paying up for it. Do take some time to confirm authenticity though, because there are fakes out there. But I had it listed for $128 and it popped off as a full price sale. So I'll take it with a $2 cost of the bins, which I still cannot believe. This brought me to a profit of $100.40. And this was a sale over on Poshmark. I really thought that this was either going to be a sale over on eBay or on Depop, but stranger things have happened. But guys, that is it. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. I got to get these things packed up and off to the post office. Toot sweet. I got a few errands that I have to run after I drop this off, and I would like to be back before rush hour because something that is a 20-minute drive can very quickly become a 3-hour tour, if you know what I mean. But if you guys had fun, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. That helps me out so much with YouTube. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, I hope you have the most beautiful weekend. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next one.